Hi, welcome back to the channel with Toon and Lee in Thailand, and today I'm subsurface. So as you can see, I'm a little bit below ground, and the reason being I'm going to do some tank repairs. So this old tank was originally used for holding water for when Toon's mum and dad used to live here many moons ago. They used to keep a pig or three. So they used to use this as a water holding tank. The idea is just to create more areas that we can hold crayfish. Our female crayfish on back, she's been jigging, so eggs are expected any time. We've checked her once and they've not formed, but it won't be long now. And with the crayfish, they need to hatch their eggs where the eggs are actually going to stay. So the idea being is to utilise the old pig water tank. So running repairs are required. This we did trial this as a catfish breeding tank. That was an epic fail. And you can see there's been a running repair here, I think when Toon's dad was here. Okay, so it's far from perfect, but it's a structure we've already got, and apart from the two mahoosive cracks, everything's pretty okay with it. Once we've got it sorted, we'll clean it. Obviously chemicals seeping into the water from the cement, not good for crayfish. They're quite sensitive to chemicals and stuff. We'll let it stand, then take the water out, just pump it out, and then we'll prep it for on back. So we'll move her here once she's I think the phrase is berried up, got her berries on her ready for hatching. We'll pop her in here, and then once the juvenile crayfish start to leave her, then we can take her back out and she can get back with her boyfriends. Okay, so my lovely assistant Toon has mixed me up some rubby-dubby, so I'm going to get this patched up. All patched up. I know it's hard to believe. There's almost no end to my skill set. I'll smooth that off a little bit once it's dried a little bit. I'm just going to clear around the edge all this weed and stuff, and then that'll do for today. Stage 1 almost complete. Well, we're all done. Had a good clean round the outside, and give it a bit of a clean, and then we're going to put the first lot of water in. We're not going to add any plants or anything like that. We're going to change the water a couple of times, make sure it's nice and clear. Put some dried banana leaves in there as well, and that should balance everything out and remove any harmful bits and bobs. So that's good. We've just received a phone call from the Kampang Pet Aquaculture Officer, who's going to come round and have a look at our setup. Unfortunately, we still haven't got we haven't put into action our plan of putting an impenetrable barrier all around the top of here. I'm pretty sure that's what they want to see when they come. Now, we have seen on YouTube other people doing this in Thailand, and they've just put that poxy blue netting stuff round. You know, the one that people sometimes make a hammock out of. And to me, the crayfish can easily climb that. So chocolate teapot springs to mind, or chocolate fire guard. What we're going to do is use roofing sheets and bury them into the soil a few inches, and put them all round like that. Nice and shiny roofing sheets, no way they can climb up those. But we haven't done it yet, so whether it's going to be a problem when he comes here, I imagine it is, but Toon's pretty confident. So anyway, we'll see what he says when he gets here. You can see how far the water's come up after we emptied it. That was only 3 days ago, and we put the rosette water lettuce. We dragged that back in, but there wasn't much of it left and it had gone quite crispy. So we've put all the other plants that we've got. We've put a selection in here. I just need to transfer 2 of the bits and bobs from the walking catfish pond. I'll just show you them. Crayfish like lots of cover and shade. Murky water. The murky water might be a bit of a problem, but we've put a bit of manure in there to try and get the algae growth and all the zooplankton going. Okay, so in here, as well as the rosette water lettuce, we've got the proper hyacinth, and that's growing quite well in here now. And then we've also got that plant that we've put in the crayfish concrete tank, which they seem to like. They're ripping that to pieces now, so I'm going to take a selection of both out of here. That'll be done today, and introduce it into here. Yeah, the crayfish won't really climb out unless you get the rain. We'll see what they say. Obviously the red claw crayfish is not a native species in Thailand, so they've got to make sure that they don't escape and get into the waterways. For any of you guys in the UK and you fancy some freshwater crayfish, get yourself down to the River Lee, and there's loads of signal crayfish in there. There's a population explosion, so they cause quite a bit of damage to the riverbanks, as well as eating the fish and frogs and all sorts of other bits and bobs. And then the UK white crayfish is dangerously low numbers now. The red claws from Australia, they don't burrow. They like to be in the mud, but they don't make holes in the side of riverbanks or ponds or anything like that. So that's why a lot of people put pipes in there. One of you guys has kindly given us some advice, saying that you want to put nets in there. So you'll have a net weighted down, big bunch of net with a weight underneath it, and then we'll put a Pepsi bottle tied to the top of the bunch and hold it up like that, so it's like a net column in the pond. We'll do quite a few of those, and the juveniles like to hide in there, and of course algae will grow on the blue net. So that's the plan. Right, that'll do for now, and then we'll give you an update after this geezer's had a walk round and a chat with us. Okay then guys, so we've just had a visit from 4 officers from the Aquaculture Centre, Kampang Pet, and spent about 40 minutes with us. Had a good look round the land, and as I was saying, you know, you need to make these papers or apply for these papers, because it's a non-native species, this crayfish malarkey. So it's not a given that you'll get your paper, but we've got a paper. Well, we've got a temporary paper. The official paper will be ready in about 2 weeks, so the boss said. Okay, so give you a bit of information. So first of all, they had a look at our breeding tank, which is what we've got the crayfish in at the moment. So they measured that and wrote down what we've got in there. Then the small tank that I've been working on, and then this pond here. And he did ask the question, well, how are you going to stop them coming out? We said what we were going to do, and he said, well, you'll need to do that. If you don't do it and we come back and find that you haven't done it, then you get your ticket taken away. Did ask about blue netting. Inadequate. So anyone that is keeping crayfish and is putting a blue net around their pond, you're running the risk of losing your paper, guys, but you've probably not got a paper anyway. So impenetrable barrier is what you want. As far as increasing goes, because they looked at the pond and said, how many ponds are you going to grow them in? We said, well, just one, but we are allowed to expand if it takes off. While they're here, they made a note of all the ponds that we've got and what we've got growing in there, and they were very, very helpful. we got on the subject of another guide, a Thai guy that's growing these in Kampang Pet, and he's supplying a lot of restaurants and things like that in the Bangkok area, and market sellers. But we said, look, we're just small scale, or we aim to be just small scale, and feed ourselves and sell a little bit, and possibly sell some online as well. So yeah, and that guy that actually grows them, he buys them as well. He doesn't just grow them and sell them, he actually buys them. So we'll be getting in contact with him. He's the one that's supplying the babies for us, so we'll get a price off him what he buys them back at. All good. So there you go, yet again, Tuna Lee's channel, giving you the facts and not fiction. I know we have a lot of fiction and fantasy on our channel, but when it comes to things like visas and anything like this, where the law is involved, then we like to give you the facts. Remember, we always advise, look, if you're not sure, ask the correct people. So our first port of call was the government office in town for landowners and people who own farms, and we went there asking about this. They said, we don't do anything linked with water, we're purely crops. They gave us the phone number for the aquaculture centre. We gave them a tinkle. They took our basic details down over the phone, and then they got in touch and said, right, we'll be there. So 4 of them turned up here. They knew what they were talking about. Nice people, very helpful, gave us a few tips, and yeah, all good. What you should be doing, whatever you're doing on your farms, you should be telling these officers what you're growing anyway. They like to have a picture of what's going on farms, and then certainly if there's a sort of like a flood or anything like that, or a drought, then everything's on record, and where they can help, they will. So that's it, guys, for today. Short and sweet. Hopefully it's quite helpful. In the future, we're looking to sell crayfish mainly online, and for food for ourselves. So I know there's been a lot of interest already just through these videos and through Facebook. It's going to be quite a few months until we're ready to harvest any crayfish, but hopefully the breeding will go well, and we'll have plenty to consume ourselves, and hopefully we can sell a few kg. So if you're interested, keep up to date with us on the Tuna Lee Pawpang Farm Facebook page, and you can see the progress, and when we've got a few yabbies ready for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Ta-da. See if he'll fucking copy this video.